Thanks for listening.
It's time to experience the amazing flavors of eatlocalminnesota.com. It's your key to unlocking the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. See how eatlocalminnesota.com can point you to that perfect one-of-a-kind spot. If you're craving barbecue, then don't drive too fast or you will miss Scott Jamama's Hot Barbecue, located at 3 West Diamond Lake Road in Minneapolis. Scott Jamama's offers mouth-watering baby back ribs, grilled chicken, and half-pound pulled pork sandwiches. The potato salad, spicy baked beans, and twice-baked potatoes should not be missed. More details at scottjamamas.com. Explore the award-winning, spirited Midwestern flavors at 30 Bales in Hopkins. Priding themselves as a scratch kitchen using the cleanest, most local ingredients they can source, join 30 Bales for lunch, dinner, or their scrumptious weekend brunch. Conveniently located at 1106 Main Street in Hopkins with plenty of free parking. See their menu at 30bales.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 51, Thursday sunny with a high near 82, and Friday a chance for rain with a high near 73. Nightingale off 26th and Lindale has patio, dining room, and bar seating available. Menu favorites include the famous Nightingale burger and fries, ginger tamari chicken wings, smoked chicken liver plate, and more. Plus, they still do takeout and delivery. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu till midnight. More at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun, and thank you very much for joining me tonight. Before we get to Robert, the one thing that is this a thing, first of all, that if you have a laptop and it needs to be updated, they tell you it's time to update, we need you to update, and you don't do it right away because maybe you have, perhaps like myself, a couple thousand things open. And yes, I do need every piece of the couple thousand things open because I go back and forth. I mean, we're all people who have a lot of stuff going on, and there's always a need, and I have especially a lot of Word documents open because I'm making notes different places and everything else. And then it kind of forces you to restart, doesn't it? This isn't just my imagination. That I'm pretty sure that Microsoft starts turning off stuff on your computer to force you to restart. An example of this tonight was I was doing a live on another network. I was helping out and stuff, and it wouldn't let me, I use StreamYard. For those who know what StreamYard is, it's a way to do live Facebook streaming. We use it at the station all the time. And I found that when I try to log into it, which is something that I do every day, it wouldn't let me. And there's no reason why it shouldn't have. It didn't let me. Logging in was fine, but having access to my camera, having access to my microphone were disabled. There is no reason for it to be disabled. So while the show has started already, I needed to go and update my computer, which only took a mere 8 minutes to do. And what's even worse, it started updating my BIOS, which I really, I really don't know about that. I don't like that. And I don't like the fact that you have to do these, and in my mind, it feels like that they are kind of twisting your arm when it's like, okay, it's time to do it. Back in the day, we just had like discs or something to update, and now it's getting a little too much, I think, at least. I don't know what anyone else thinks here. But it's definitely one of those things that I just really kind of annoys me, but whatever. What doesn't annoy me is the fact that tonight I have Mr. Robert Robinson with me. For those who have listened to this program and my other iterations of this show over the past 5 years, Robert Robinson had been on a number of times talking about cryptozoology, in particular, talking about Bigfoot, talking about his research that he has done, the books that he has written, such as International Legend Trippers. It's fantastic. His wealth of knowledge, everything that he does, and one of the reasons why I enjoy inviting him back, because he's a good person. He's very knowledgeable. He's not going to sugarcoat anything for you. If you have something that you are curious about and it doesn't quite fit in with the research that he has spent many, many years doing, and I'm just very happy to have him on. Robert, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Hey, Greg. Thank you for having me on.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. I'm so glad that we were able to get this to work. And I had for poor Robert, I make this art for every program. I mean, it gets detailed, right? Some mistakes can be made, and I put on his art for his show for tonight. What I provided him had yesterday's date on it, so poor Robert thought he missed the program last night, and it's just like I just can't. I'm trying to make you fail or something, Robert. I don't know what happened, but I apologize for that.
No problem.
So one of the things I wanted to do tonight, and I don't know how well this is going to work. There's some sites out there that have recordings that were taken out in the field of these creatures, these Bigfoot creatures, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them. They're different names by different regions, and wanted to play some of these. I mean, gosh, first of all, Robert, once again, how long have you been doing this?
Oh God, I've had a lifelong interest in it, but I didn't really get serious until I retired from the military, where I was able to, start doing serious research.
Yeah, and the reason why I say this too is because we're going to play some recordings tonight. Hopefully, they come through for everyone to hear, and we're going to talk about it. And the fact is that Robert's been doing this for a long time. That you're very conscientious of the sounds that these creatures make, right?
Yes.
And when you're out in the field doing the research, and I hate to use the word Bigfoot hunting, because I feel to me that sounds more aggressive than it needs to, and maybe I'm just being super precious about it. But I mean, how often are you getting any kind of audible response from them? And I don't necessarily mean like a tree knock, but if you're hearing the whoops and any sort of grunts or anything, is that something that's a common occurrence for you when you're out in the field?
No, not always. I mean, sometimes you hear not much screams, but sometimes you might hear something breathing, or you might hear something kind of grunting. But the howls and stuff are with me in my research, it's been rare. I mean, I have heard some. It's been a while since I've heard some stuff, but
Yeah.
A lot of times you just kind of hear something rustling in the woods and moving around. And then you may hear breathing, or you may hear just kind of a oof kind of noise.
Yeah, you do, and I have, and and that's the thing that I don't want to bore the audience again, because I've talked about this so much since it happened. But I kind of alluded to you, Robert, that we had been out in Kentucky, and they took us to a spot that had been a place of interest. And what we ended up getting was, first of all, the tree rustling, like something would follow us step by step. And when we would stop, and it was like two of us, when we would stop, the rustling would stop, right?
Yes, I've had that happen.
And that is not creepy or anything. You know, it's a little bit off-putting, right? At least to me. You're probably like, oh, what are you talking about? But we've had a situation where in that same place that we saw something, and we know what's around that area in the sense of anybody coming into the area that shouldn't be there. We were in an area that had a long open path area, a long area. And I think it was about, I don't even know how far away it is. I see Shar on here. I don't know, Shar, how far away were we? And you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's 3 of us in a row just watching. And all of a sudden, some bipedal creature steps out into the moonshine in an open area and just stops and looks our way. And I will remember, and all 3 of us who were not talking, all 3 at the same time, just point at it. And we're like, look at that. We is independent of each other. We just did that. That was our response. And I will never forget that. And it was, to me, the moonlight kind of it shimmered the fur on it. It was gray. To me, it looked gray, maybe like a blue gray because of the moonlight, perhaps. Mm-hmm. And later that night, it was part of an area that's created, that's part of an earthen fort, Fort Duffield. And we were at the fort itself, which isn't much, there's a lot left of it, but it was around in the Civil War. And we heard, I can't even describe the sound that was made by one of these creatures that was really, it just got all of our attention, obviously. I've never heard anything like that before in my life. And it was pretty intense, Robert.
Wow.
Yeah. And
well, I tell you, once you see this thing, it leaves a lifelong an everlasting impression on you. It's something that will, the people that I believe have seen it, it is a life-changing event for them when they see this thing.
The next night we were in a different we were in Indiana, and I can't explain what happened because once again we're in the woods, and I got to send you some pictures actually. We'll do that after the show about bending trees and creating what I thought were like nests, but they don't say those are nests, but they're structures. And we have this we're back there and we're trying to see what's going on. Robert, something put its hand on the back of my head and took it off. I don't know what that was because there was nobody around me. I'm a taller person. There was nobody my height nearby me. I thought maybe what I did that I backed into like a branch or something. And I was going to be mad at myself because I'm pretty good at knowing what's around me, especially doing the paranormal investigating. There was nothing behind me. I can't explain what had happened there. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
No, I can't say I've heard anything. I've had an individual told me that he was sitting down, he was out hunting, and he sat down underneath a tree and something was throwing, I think, acorns or something at him.
Yeah.
I've read some incident reports where people have actually been struck by it. I think one story, the individual who was a teenager at the time kind of ran up on it, and I think he almost ran into it, and the creature kind of pushed him away. And I think I don't think the animal was attacking him as it was, in a defensive posture, the teenager running into him.
Yeah.
As far as touching, I know that, they put their hand through windows, open windows. But, I'm sure if I go back and look, I could probably find something. But right off the bat, I can't think of anything.
it's just weird. It's just because when a hand puts itself on your head, you know what I mean? It's not it's not something that you can just be like, I wonder if that was like a bug or something. It's something that's very kind of tangible. But I just wanted to share that because, like you said, it is life changing. And for these people who are listening to the show, some who listen on a regular basis has heard this story from me more than they probably ever want to count, because it's just been something that we keep bringing up because it's something that we did not expect at all, especially at Fort Duffield. We did not expect it, but it changed everything, the way that we went forward. And they've done events over at Fort Duffield since, and they've gotten some really interesting things in that area as well. I mean, that's nice. Just outside of Louisville, Kentucky is West Point, where Fort Duffield is.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's something else. So that's why I wanted to kind of talk with you, and now I am much more, I guess, more not in tune. That's not the right word, but more interested, perhaps, because there is that. Now it's kind of, this time it's personal, I guess. I don't know. We were over in Wabasha, Minnesota, which is south and right on the Mississippi River. On the other side is Wisconsin. And we were doing some stuff over there because there's a lot of woods and stuff as well that we thought might be interesting. And I want to send you a recording. I keep forgetting to do so, of something that we can't place what this animal sound is. And maybe you might be able to shed light on it. And you might just be like, well, it's a duck or something like that. It might be something really mundane and simple, but we were really surprised by it. And I've been meaning to send it your way to get your thoughts on it, because once again, it was something that we just didn't expect. And we also got some tree knocking over there outside of on the other side of the Mississippi River.
Okay. Well.
So yeah, and we're going to go to break here in a minute. But Marcy was wondering, in your experience, Robert, are these creatures, are they curious?
Yes, especially the younger ones. I mean, most animals are. I always tell people, a lot of people that I take out, when we go out looking for these animals, it's sometimes better just to stay in camp and let them come to you. Because I mean, if you go out walking around, they're gonna leave. They're gonna go hide. Yeah. But if you stay and just, if they're in the area, one of them's gonna come over and take a look. I always say these group of these creatures. Again, this is a theory. Okay. Sure. Because, and again, I get this from the whole theory about gorillas, that they have like a lookout that they put, one will go out there and kind of keep a lookout in case anything comes close to the pod. And I think what happens is when we set up camp out there, if they are in the area, the lookout will kind of come over and see what's going on. Yeah. So curious, absolutely, they're curious. You got the younger ones that have been known to sit around and watch. They've been observed watching kids in playgrounds. They've been observed watching through windows. So yeah, absolutely, they're very curious.
So I want to do this. I want to go ahead and take our first break. And what we can do here, there's some comments in the comment section about gifting stumps. We want to talk about that. We got some recordings that we want to play for Robert, get his thoughts on them. We're going to have a great conversation. Put your questions in the comment section. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
Fall is here and it's the season of changes. But you know what doesn't change? The fun and excitement at the National Eagle Center in Wabasha. Pack up the family for a perfect day trip and take a drive to Wabasha to join the celebration during their Soar Fall Flight Festival happening September 23rd and 24th. They're highlighting fall migration along the Mississippi River Flyway and celebrating Native American cultures and their connections to eagles. You'll meet the live eagle ambassadors, catch an exciting program in the beautiful Riverfront Amphitheater, and enjoy a front row seat to fall migration. You can explore Native and Indigenous cultures by visiting the exhibitor booths from Effigy Mounds National Monument, Indigenous artist Inkpa Manny, and Native American craftsman Dick Mindikowski. Plus, meet live birds from the Midwest Peregrine Society. Register for an unforgettable eagle viewing trip or behind-the-scenes experience and enjoy seasonal arts and crafts for all ages. It's a fall party with the Eagles, and you're invited. Get all the details online at nationaleaglecenter.org/soar and schedule your Eagle Fun today.
Have you ever wanted to see a real Masonic Lodge or visit a beautiful hotel from the 1800s? GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun, Charvinity bring you a weekend of paranormal investigations in Rush City, Minnesota. Starting Friday, September 22nd at the historic Grant House and continuing into Saturday, September 23rd at the Jasper Masonic Lodge, we have a lot of options for you to join in on this event. Go to charvinity.com/event-list for full details. And I have some exciting news. First of all, I've been to that National Eagle Center in Wabasha, Minnesota. It's funny that we're just talking about Wabasha and it comes up in the break. If you have a chance to go to Wabasha, Minnesota and check out the National Eagle Center, it is well worth it. I have been there a couple times. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful building, and they have some incredible birds there. So please definitely go check that out. I also want to let people know that this Friday, GhostBox Radio is live from Crypticon, Minnesota. That's going to be held over at the Crown Plaza in Plymouth. You go to crypticonminneapolis.com. You can go there. You can find out which celebrities are going to be there. I'll tell you some of them. Dee Wallace is going to be there. You might remember Dee from E.T. She was also in The Howling, the Cujo. I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Danny Pinaturo. Wasn't Danny in Who's the Boss? He was also in Cujo. That's pretty cool. But you know who I'm really excited about seeing there? Clint Howard. Does that name sound familiar? First of all, it's Ron Howard's brother. Clint Howard was that, I mean, amongst many things. He's in a lot of things. I remember seeing in an episode of Odd Couple. But he was also in an episode of Star Trek. He was the little child that had the man voice, and he is bald. Anyone remember that? It's fantastic. I wonder if I could talk to him. We're doing Casual Friday from Crypticon this Friday. So if you have a chance, and who knows who's going to stop by. I know Jim Seuss is going to stop by, and he is one of the people that worked at Crypticon. We're just going to have a great conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're going to Crypticon, and I think you should, there's tickets still available. Go to crypticonminneapolis.com to find out what works for you. I'm going to be out there all weekend. I have a panel. I'm doing my presentation, playing Spirit Box recordings on Saturday at 3 p.m. And then at, I think, noon on Sunday, I'm on a panel with some other people talking about the Palmer House. So it's going to be a fantastic event. A good weekend. I'll be out there all weekend. Hopefully can run into some people out there and say hi. We are talking about the sounds Bigfoot makes, and you might be like, well, we haven't talked about any sounds Bigfoot made yet. And, you know, honestly, Robert, I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this in the sense of You're going to play these, and I don't know if it's just like, does that sound right to you? And you're going to be like, yeah or no. I mean, but I think that they're interesting. I think they're interesting to just listen to, if that works for you.
It's fine. Yeah.
All right. He's just like, why am I here tonight? And it's a fair question. Now, there's a couple more things that have come through. Robert, when you go out and do your research in the field, do you create a gifting stump?
No, I haven't done that. I know what you're talking about and stuff, and I know people that have done that with their house. They've left stuff out in their house and stuff. But I do know some investigators that have done that. I haven't done that.
We did it in Indiana, and we like Zanzi did. We didn't put out the chocolate or anything. We did have some stuff out there, but what we did have out there was a granola bar. It was still wrapped. And like she said, she had feathers and fancy rocks. We had marbles that were kind of balancing on the stump itself. And we went away for a couple hours. Now, earlier that evening, we were in a picnic area. And it's just like you said, we only had... we didn't really travel far from the campsite. We went into the woods a little bit, but we kind of stuck to the campsite. We had some Funyuns, a bag of Funyuns at a picnic table, and some raccoons came up and they took it and they ripped it apart, just like what you expect raccoons to do. The gifting stump, though, we left for a little bit, about 2 hours. We came back, and most of the stuff on the gifting stump was still there, except for the granola bar. And the granola bar, we found the wrapper on the floor, there's a floor on the ground. And, like we talked about how the raccoons just tore apart the Funyun bag. This was not ripped apart. It looked literally like someone had the bar and they took their nail and went across the packaging, like slid it open and took it out and put the wrapper on the ground. That marble I talked about was untouched. I mean, it was a very delicate operation.
Most of the time that I know investigators do it, they set up a trail cam or some kind of a recording device to keep an eye on the area where they put some gifts. And I know a couple times where they left like apples and peanut butter and stuff, and the stuff came up. Then again, they've had some raccoons and some other animals come up and get it. I always wanted to suspend an apple on a rope where the raccoons and stuff couldn't get it. I just haven't done it. I mean, I've talked to friends of mine, Nick and them, about doing it. And to be honest with you, I probably need to go ahead and start doing that, because I've talked about it a bunch of times, and then set up our trail cameras in areas where, these things have been seen.
Yeah.
And that way it's kind of, how would I say it? What else can grab an apple off of a rope,
And you can have that dangle pretty high because you're very tall. So yeah, you're right. And this, and you could do it where the length between, if you did it off a limb and the rope was tall enough that, like to your point, the raccoons can't just shimmy down the rope to get the apple or whatever.
They're not that smart enough to do that.
No, I'm not that smart to do that.
I mean, I've seen people do similar, and the animals come up from the bottom and they try to jump up and get it, and to no avail. And then they just kind of give up and go off. But I've never seen them get smart enough to go up the tree and come down the rope to get it.
No. If you do that, please let me know. I'd love to know what you find with that. I think that's a fantastic idea.
To do that. I need to do that. Like I said, me and the group I go out with, we've talked numerous times about doing it. I'll be honest, I don't know why we haven't done it.
Now you've
been a loss right now, because now you're talking about it.
It's like do it. Just do it, Robert.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it this time.
Yeah, do it this time. And how often do you go out into the field?
Well, I haven't been in a long time, and because the weather down here in Florida has been extremely, extremely hot. And I have, I'll be honest with you, I have taken a step back a little from it to focus on my wife, because my wife has Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And she has been doing this furniture stuff, and I decided I wanted to help her, push, because she's been supporting me for a long time, and I just want to take a step back and support her.
Yeah.
She does enjoy camping. She does enjoy going out there. She's a fantastic photographer. I'm not sure how much she really believes in all this stuff, because we've seen some obvious hoaxing and some stories that are a little far-fetched. So she's on the border on that. She's a little bit more in the paranormal than she is in the cryptozoology, but she does go out with me, and she does keep an open mind. But she, if she doesn't think somebody's being truthful and stuff, she will call them out.
When you're saying this, and when you're talking about that apple, and it's like, why haven't you done it yet? Robert, why haven't I had you on talking about paranormal and ufology? Because you're well versed in all of that as well. We never seem to talk about that.
I love all that stuff. The paranormal, ufology, the unexplained, missing people, the Bermuda Triangle. I love, that's, it's not just Bigfoot. Bigfoot seems to have been what it is. I enjoy going out in the woods, and I enjoy looking at for stuff, Bigfoot's an excuse to go out in the woods. I mean, not saying I don't, I think there's something out there, bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like going out there and, going into an old abandoned house and stuff with my wife and stuff, and looking at stuff. And we do know all the paranormal groups down here in Florida.
Yeah.
And, I'll be honest with you, we've actually talked about, maybe going out and checking out some, paranormal places and stuff versus, doing the Bigfoot, especially when it's really hot,
You're
too hot to go in the woods.
You're in the swamp. What are they called down there? Skunk apes, or?
They call it the skunk ape. I kind of, it's traditionally called the skunk ape. Dave Shealy kind of, popularized that term, but it was actually used a lot longer before he ever used it. I mean, it was called the Everglades ape.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just, never really associated it with Bigfoot till the Patterson film came out, and then people started, hey, we got one of those down here. And then a gentleman, last name Osborne, in 1971, when him and two other guys were out in the Big Cypress Swamp, saw it, and when they were interviewed, he pretty much animately said it's a skunk ape. Yeah. So the name stuck. Some investigators don't like it. Ramona Clark Hibner in the 70s hated the term, and she actually called it the Yeti. She liked the term Yeti.
Yeah.
Some people refer to it as Bigfoot. Some people refer to it as a swamp ape. I'll be honest. It's the skunk ape, because that's pretty much people refer to it down here in Florida. I prefer the term swamp ape. Yeah. It's got a better ring to it, because up in Texas they call it the wood apes. So here in Florida we have the swamp apes.
And one thing I forgot, I never really talk about when I retell the story that I had 100,000 times. But one thing I never talk about, and was thinking of the term skunk ape, was the smell that we encountered as well. Mm-hmm. In Kentucky, the kind of the dank urine, very, and like, it's just it was very potent. Even when we didn't see that creature, it was like all of a sudden it was just around us, that odor that it just kind of raised our alarm of like, okay, what is going on here?
Believe it or not, this animal, and I'm not just talking the Florida one, there's reports of an animal, the Sasquatch, over in California, Oregon, and it's been known to give off a smell too. People have known a very pungent smell. The Honey Island swamp monster, the Falk monster, again, people have noticed this pungent smell. Like it's a big hairy animal going through this woods, and there's different theories. I mean, I have talked to people that have seen it and didn't smell it. I've talked to people that have smelt it and didn't see it, and I've seen, last one, of course, people have seen it and smelled it. So it's kind of, it's
It could be anything.
It's been known to give off a pungent smell.
Now, what is the name of that site? Because Marcy's asking the question. She's like, I've heard that there's Bigfoots in Sierra National Park. Has anyone investigated there? My guess is that if someone knows that there is a creature, they've investigated it. And there is a website that you have talked about before that kind of tracks where people have seen sightings of these creatures.
Well, the best one is Matt Moneymaker's site, the BRFO. He has a very, very comprehensive and probably the best one database out there of sightings, not only in the United States, but all over the world too.
Right.
And he does have a team of investigators that goes out and when a report comes in, and they'll go take a look at, unfortunately, some of the reports that come in, the person, is telling a report of something he saw like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hard to investigate it. But, like I said, the BRFO is probably, in my opinion, one of the better sites out there when it comes to, doing research and looking. Because I tell people, when you're going out to an area, go to the BRFO, see if there's been any activity in the area that you're going before you go out there.
Do you feel that it's, and we're going to get to some sounds here in a second, but do you feel that it is, if you're looking and you don't see a report of a sighting, do you feel that it's maybe not a place that you should go and look, or do you think that that's more of like a kind of a lost opportunity and that you should go and check it out?
Me, I only go to where I've been told or read where there's been some activity. Because there's a reason why the animal's out there. Now, you can find an area close by where this, there may have been some sightings, and you look over and say, well, look at this wooded area over here. Maybe it's, gone over there. I have done that. I've actually looked over at this area and say, well, look, there's a creek going through here. I wonder if this animal is traveling the creek. It was seen going in this direction. And so let's go see if it actually, let's see if we can head it off at the pass and see if it actually comes down in this area, So, I mean, you got to kind of do a little bit of detective work, or kind of trying to think where you anticipate it, the next sighting might be. Or
Which is the fun part, right? I mean, that's, I mean, that's the best part. We're going to need to head to break here in a second, but I want to play a roar, and these are from woodape.org. Just as I think that this, I mean, I'm sure there's other sites, maybe they're better sites. I do not know. If you know of good sites out there, folks, let me know. But I looked, and these are well documented sites. There's a lot of information about these audio recordings. This recording from 2017 is actually of two individuals, and was recorded not long after the team had loudly broadcasted playbacks of great ape vocalizations. The roars may well have been intended to defend territory throughout intimidation. Robert, I'm going to play this clip right now. Hopefully y'all can hear it. Well, that's frightening. I'm going to play it one more time. I hope everyone can hear it. If you can't hear it, I know you can hear it over the air, but if you can't hear it through our streaming, let me know. So what do you think of that, Robert?
Sounds like an eagle screeching to me.
So you're thinking that it's not a creature, not a
well,
sound.
Based on some of the recordings that I feel might be some validity to it, that one there to me it sounds like it sounds like an eagle screeching, or almost an owl. An owl can make those sounds too.
And that's one of the things, because as we alluded to earlier about our sound that we weren't sure of, that's what I think we're kind of worried about, is you coming back and being like it's a bunny or something like that, So, and I think that's good to know, though. We need to know that.
Well, I mean, you got to put it out there, and there are, I am no expert, so please don't think I'm an expert on any kind of animal sounds. I'm just, telling you what it could be.
I'm happy to know what you think.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you think it's an eagle, and we just, played that commercial for the National Eagle Center. I don't know. Maybe this is all just one big marketing ploy. I don't know anymore. It's not. It really isn't. Well, okay, let's do this. We're running late on break here. Let's go ahead, take our second break. We're going to play more of these so that Robert can tell us it's not Sasquatch at all, which is actually what I want to know. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Any questions or anything? You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Have you ever wanted to see a real Masonic lodge or visit a beautiful hotel from the 1800s? GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun, Charvinity, bring you a weekend of paranormal investigations in Rush City, Minnesota. Starting Friday, September 22nd at the historic Grant House and continuing into Saturday, September 23rd at the Jasper Masonic Lodge, we have a lot of options for you to join in on this event. Go to charvinity.com/event-list for full details.
Hi, this is Todd from 30 Bales on Main Street in Hopkins. My co-founder Tom and I developed our restaurant to celebrate everything Midwestern cuisine has to offer. Our upbeat neighborhood gathering place brings together bright personalities, bold recipes, clean ingredients, and craft spirits that play with the unique flavors of the Midwest. The menu at 30 Bales is inspired by seasonal ingredients grown close to home. Find us across the street from the Hopkins Center for the Arts at 1106 Main Street with plenty of free parking. Go to 30bales.com to learn more.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 51, Thursday sunny with a high near 82, and Friday a chance for rain with a high near 73. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and destination restaurant serving delicious food and drinks. They have a menu comprised of snacks, bruschettas, and small plates designed for sharing but is sure to satisfy your appetite. Plus, they have thoughtfully crafted cocktails. Find details at eatlocalminnesota.com.
And tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun, Adam is going to be hosting the show tomorrow. I'm going to be off doing something else, so I'm really excited for Adam to take on the program tomorrow. We're going to have on evidential medium Jennifer Lee. She's going to do one-question readings. She's also a certified death doula, which I know Adam is just going to really love talking about that quite a bit. And I'm really looking forward to it. So please tune in. If you have questions for Jennifer tomorrow, put them in the comments, just like you are tonight. It's going to be a fantastic show. Show Adam some love. Make sure you're there and definitely talk with him. It's going to be a great program. And like I said, I am on Friday. I'm going to be live from Crypticon, Minnesota. You can go get tickets if you're local over at Crypticon, Minneapolis.com. There's tickets still available. There's a lot of people going to be there. Going to be a lot of vendors. I think you're going to have a great time if you go out there. There's day passes at all. You don't have to go for the whole week. And if you want to just do like Saturday or something, that's available as well. I also want to let people know, because this is going to be a pretty big event. Monday through Wednesday next week, we are focusing 3 days on a place called the Enfield Demon House. This building This house was built in 1771. Jay Yapel is going to be on with me. I've known Jay for a number of years. He's been he had been on my show 2016 or something. That story chills me to the bone, but there's a lot of changes and a lot more information has come up since then. We want him on. We're going to have some special guests that are going to join us next week to talk about this place. I don't think you want to miss it. It's going to be great. We are talking with Mr. Robert Robinson. We are listening to some recordings that may or may not be of a Bigfoot, and I think it's good. And I joke with you, Robert, that it's like, oh, you're just bursting our balloon. But honestly, this is what I like about it, because you're being able to hear things and see it from a perspective, because what a lot of us do, what I do, because I am absolutely no expert on these sounds that they make. They're presenting something to me. I'm taking it at face value. You're somebody who has spent many years in the field. I like your take on it. I really do.
Sounds good.
I'm just like, hello. So
I thought you were going to play another sound, so I was.
Everyone is, and I have yet to do so. But there's a lot of good questions in there, and I want your thoughts on this. Calls and trees, tree knocks, Ernie says, and all those things are not what I would recommend. We honestly have no idea if that might provoke a Sasquatch or run them off. What are your thoughts on that, Robert?
I always tell people, when you go out there and try to imitate an animal, like you go up to a cat and go meow, the cat looks at you like, what? What are you doing? These animals know, they can pick up if it's a human out there doing it. And the whole wood knock thing, they're intelligent. They really do know what's going on out there. So, you can go ahead and do a wood knock and hope something happens. A lot of times I've been out there wood knocking and nothing's happened. I remember one night I was with some other guys. We did a wood knock. We got a wood knock back. We did another wood knock, got a wood knock back. And I went, man, that sounds awfully. So I got on the phone and I called a friend of mine. I said, hey, are you guys out by the chance? He goes, yeah, we just got to respond to a wood knock. And I went, hold on a second. I said, did you just hear that? He goes, yeah, man, we just heard another wood. I said, that's us. Oh, we're on the other side of the woods here. I have heard some wood knocks. Me and my wife and me were out one time, and we turned around. All of a sudden, bang! We heard a wood knock. We both looked at each other and I think what it was whatever it was that did the wood knock was signaling that we were leaving the woods.
Sure.
I don't think they really. You can go out there all you want and do wood knocks. You can go out there and try to do your screams, but these animals, they know when we're out there. They know that's a human doing that, and they know it's a human doing the wood knocks and stuff. But I'm not gonna lie and say I don't do the screams, because I can't do anywhere close to doing those on there. I do play some of the sounds that I've heard on. I have them on my phone that I was just gonna ask. I'll get one of those little Bluetooth speakers and hang it up and play it like the Sierra sounds. I like playing those ones.
Yeah. Well, and when I was in Wabasha, we did the same thing. We played some of those, and that's when we started to get some what we thought were responses. Now, and I say that once again as this is what we think it is. I don't know, but that's what we think. Why don't we play something here now? This from this site once again. I'm on woodape.org. It's a Sasquatch dating site. No, okay, but it's woodape.org, and what they're telling us we're listening to is the roar of one of these creatures, which might be an eagle again. And I say that it's very interesting. Also a gorilla and a puma. So you're going to hear three of them. And as a comparison. So what we just listened to was a roar. What they believe, what they're telling us, is the roar of a Sasquatch Bigfoot, a gorilla, and a puma. So I want to play that one more time for everybody. Now, that probably was the same eagle then again, probably, right?
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be an eagle, but I, comparing it to a gorilla sound, I mean, these are Bigfoot, as we'll call them, primates.
Yeah.
And it's determined just their head structure. Even Jeff Muldrum even said that the way that they're, excuse me,
bless you,
their head is pivoted. There's certain sounds they can't make, like they can't make an E sound, And then when I was listening to the Sierra sounds, it did remind me of a gorilla. So I just picture a deeper, more of a,
Yeah. Yeah, because this what they're playing here is more of like a screech. Now that you have mentioned the eagle beforehand, to me that seemed like what we're hearing is more of a screech.
Some people go out there and they hear. I mean, I can tell you one time, but really quick. I was out there. I don't remember who I was with, and I heard this weird. I was in Pennsylvania. Heard this really weird noise, and the first thing popped in my head was, "Oh my God, is that a Sasquatch?"
Mm-hmm.
And the person next to me go, "That's a deer giving birth." And I was like, "That is the most weirdest sound I have ever heard. I just can't imagine a deer doing it." He goes, "Well, that's what it is." So there are noises out there that, a lot of us don't know. This individual I was with was an avid hunter who's been out there all the time and knows what's out there. But, in the same aspect, he's also a researcher as well. So he thinks that they're. But he's one of those people that if he knows what the sound is, he's not going to sugarcoat it or have you believe it's anything else. He's going to say, no, that's a deer giving birth. No, that's an eagle. No, that's, and I'd rather be, I'd rather be around people that are going to be truthful about stuff than to, have me believing it's something when it's not.
Well, and that's the only way we're going to learn, right?
Yeah, correct. Because then it also makes you look foolish around other people.
Right.
You're up there. Yeah, that's a Bigfoot. And he goes, dude, have you ever been in the woods? No, that's a deer giving birth. You need to get out in the woods more. If you did, you would know that. So,
yeah.
And
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what that sounds like. Now, I think the best place you could find Bigfoot, like because it's nature and stuff, is in this damn studio that I'm in right now. As you're talking, Robert, some big old spider just on a web went down right in front of me into the back of the board, and now it's loose. And this is not. If you start seeing me smashing the equipment, it's because I'm trying to get it. It's really this is very unfair. The conditions that I have to do this show on, Robert, are appalling, and you need to know this. Especially if something happens to me here. Why don't we play another one? Whistling.
Yes, that's I real quick. I am an avid believer about this animal being able to whistle, which separates it from a bear or any other animal, because bears cannot whistle.
They can't move their mouth. They can't form it, right?
Right. Whereas I have read, there was one gentleman, an Italian climber, and he went looking for the Yeti, and he wrote a book about it, but he also just goes into a section where he had something following him and it was whistling. And then later on, he goes, I think it was a bear. And I went, bears don't whistle, So
exactly.
And I do believe that these animals do have the ability to whistle.
Let's play this. We're already out of time. Let's go ahead and play this and see what you think. I'm going to play it again. What you think of that?
Sounds like a human.
What does and we have about less than 2 minutes left. What does the whistle sound like? You don't have to.
Well, I tell you, I wish I had I do have the Sierra sounds, but I have it on a cassette. But if anybody ever goes on YouTube and all that, it's called the Sierra sounds. Alan Berry and oh God, I forgot the other gentleman's name. He's gonna be so pissed off if he's listening to the show and no, I can't remember his name. But they were out, and Alan got some and they were, Alan took it and gave it to scientists to listen to, and it was played on In Search Of. It was played on Mysterious Monsters, and you can hear it making some growling noises, but then you can also hear it making some whistling noises too. Yeah, thank you, Ron Moorhead. Whoever wrote that, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Ron's not listening to this because I've messed Ron's name up before. So, but anyway, yeah,
he's used to it.
But the sounds that they brought back, again, they've had them tested, and they were determined not to be human. But again, it's and the animal itself is making different kinds of noises, and I mean, it's really neat to listen to.
It sounds it. If you talked about Sierra sounds, and I didn't know how to play these the right way. That's why I didn't use them tonight. But I think what we should do is have them in the future. Maybe if you want to come back, I'd love to do this again if you're up for it. But we have to go now. We have to go now, Robert. I hope you had a good time tonight.
Always, Greg. Thanks for having me on the show.
My pleasure. And tomorrow, Adam's going to be here. We're going to have evidential medium Jennifer Lee. Have a good night, everybody.
Standing Up to the Hatriots, the David Pakman Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. on AM 950 KTNF